Shalom, shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, the elders, and the men of great millstone, as well as those men that preach and teach the likewise doctrine. No compromises, no mixing it to fix it. Shalom to all the Akim and a few Akwath who may be listening. This is your brother Batakala Yahweh from the GMS camp here in Chicago, coming back at you with another video through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. And we're just going to get right into it. All right. This is the book of 2nd Maccabees, chapter 7 and verse 1. It came to pass also that 7 brethren with their mother were taken and compelled by the king against the law to taste swine's flesh, and were tormented with scourges and whips. All right. So to set the scene here, we got Jake basically got conquered by the Greeks, the Edomite Greeks, and now Esau is trying to make Jake eat swine to go off and break the laws of the Lord. All right. And this story is important because we're coming into a time in the very near future where Esau is going to force you to make another decision that's going to separate you from the Lord and cause you to break the laws where you can't repent. And you're going to have to face nuclear hellfire if you decide to side with Esau and do what he asks you to do. Okay. And I'm talking about, when Esau come out with that yadig that you're gonna have to get, to where if you don't take it, you pretty much are either gonna get put to death or just will be excommunicated out of society. All right. Matter of fact. All right. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 13 and verse 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. All right. So when Esau brings that out, that Revelation 13 and 6, when the Lord puts the spirit on Esau to finally bring that out, it's going to be a similar situation to what these with 8 brothers and a mother, I believe it's 8 of them, faced in this account right here. All right. And the scriptures say that things aforetime are written for our learning. And these stories and various other accounts, including the account of the elder Eleazar also, which is hand in hand with this account. These things are written so that we understand the mindset that we got to have. We understand the mindset that we had when we were in our right mind, and the Lord allowed us to have our culture and to be, to really, truly, understand that we was Israelites from birth on up, unlike here where, we were born as blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, etc., But, when we was in our right mind, man, we weren't trying to go off because we had understanding of not just the law, statutes, and commandments, but of the way that the Lord set this whole, whatever you want to call it, this existence up. All right. And you're going to see that as we continue to read down. All right. Verse 2. But one of them that spake first said thus, what wouldest thou ask or learn of us? We are ready to die rather than to transgress the laws of our fathers. All right. So right from the jump, the first brother, he lets you know the spirit that you're supposed to be in. OK, it's just like 3 holy children when Nebuchadnezzar tried to make them bow down to the idol and they didn't want to do it. All right. They told him, no, I'm not going to do it. And even if you want to take us and put us in this furnace like you're threatening to do, that's just what we're going to have to deal with, because we're not going to disrespect Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai by bowing down to these other idols. All right. Because that's the number one thing you're not supposed to do. All right. Even when Moses, when Moses got the 10 commandments, the first commandment that the Lord gave was not to put any other gods or powers before Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Okay. And those 3 children, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they weren't going to do it. They didn't do it. And the Lord delivered them out of that situation. Now, does that mean that every time that you stand up and you don't, you don't disrespect the Lord and you don't break the laws, that you're going to be delivered from that in the fashion that the three holy children were? Absolutely not. All right. Some of us are going to have to die as martyrs here, and many of us have died as martyrs in the past. And the account of these brothers and their mother are an account of of individuals that put their life on the line and had to give their life up instead of transgressing the laws. Okay. But they understood that it was a reward that came with that. And they also understood that reincarnation was real back then, unlike how now they teach you that you only have one life. All right. But back then they understood that, we live multiple lives and the Lord is going to bring us back down. And it'd be better to just keep your fidelity and not transgress than to disrespect the Lord and have to deal with whatever judgments that he wants to pass on you, especially when you come down in your next life. All right. We're going to keep going. Verse 3. Then the king, being enraged, commanded pans and cauldrons to be made hot. All right. Verse 4. Which forthwith being heated, he commanded to cut out the tongue of him that spake first, and to cut off the utmost parts of his body, the rest of his brethren and his mother looking on. All right. So this first brother that spoke out, Esau, basically told them to get a big pot, start boiling some oil, and then Esau began to maim the brother. All right. Cutting off, genitals, cutting off arms, legs, basically turning him into a stump, cutting his tongue out as well. All right. Well, let's continue. Now, when he was thus maimed in all his members, he commanded him, being yet alive, to be brought to the fire and to be fried in the pan. And as the vapor of the pan was for a good space dispersed, they exhorted one another with the mother to die manfully, saying thus: The Lord Yahweh looketh upon us, and in truth hath comfort in us, as Moses in his song, which witnessed to their faces, declared, saying, and he shall be comforted in his servants. All right. So the Lord, this young man was fried until he gave up the ghost, basically. But his other brothers and his mother, they were happy that he died as a man instead of bending the knee to Esau and going off. All right. And then in verse 6 it goes on to say, that the Lord has comfort in that. And roughly paraphrasing, the scriptures say that, that when you lay your life down for the Lord, it pleases the Lord that you do that. All right. And even when Yahweh Shai, when he was bruised by those Romans and put on that cross and treated the way he was treated, that pleased the Lord. All right. Why? Because you're showing your fidelity. You're showing that you're willing to go through whatever you got to go through to prove yourself to Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. All right. Even when Abraham was going to kill Isaac, it's the same spirit, to where you willing to do whatever the Lord wants you to do, whether it's to your detriment or not, in order to prove that you are, you got faith in the Lord and whatever the Lord is bringing onto you. All right. Verse 7. So when the first was dead after this number, they brought the second to make him a mocking stock. And when they had pulled off the skin of his head with the hair, they asked him, Wilt thou eat before thou be punished throughout every member of thy body? All right, so now Esau gets the second brother. He scalps him while he's still alive. And then before he continues, he gives him a chance to eat the swine. All right. Verse 8. But he answered in his own language and said, No. Wherefore he also received the next torment in order as the former did. So after Esau gave him an opportunity to eat the pork and stop the torment, he told him no in the Hebrew, which is la'ah. And, hey, he probably put some spice on it. You know how Jake is. And after that, he went straight into going and getting the same treatment as his brother got. All right. Being dismembered, having his genitals cut off, being fried in oil. All right. Verse 9. And when he was at the last gasp, he said, Thou like a fury takest us out of this present life, but the King of the world shall raise us up, who have died for his laws unto everlasting life. See, they understood back then that, you know, when you put the Lord first, even, you know, even in front of your own life, that it's a reward for that. All right. And those brothers, you know, if they back here in the flesh today, you know, the Lord loves them, man. And the Lord has a spot for them, man. And these brothers are gonna, you know, these brothers are gonna be in the kingdom, man. These brothers are gonna get beamed up because you always come back in your lot. And if they had this type of fervency when they was dealing with this back then they're gonna have that same type of fervency for the Lord every time they come back. All right. Verse 10. After him was the third made a mocking stock, and when he was required, he put out his tongue, and the right soon, Salakia, and that right soon holding forth his hands manfully, and said courageously, These I had from heaven, and for his laws I despised them, and from him I hope to receive them again. So Esau goes to cut off the next brother's hands off, and he basically says, fuck it. I don't need these hands. Fuck these hands. I don't want them if it means that I got to go off to keep them. Because I know that the Lord is going to, Lord willing, give me hands when I come back. And that's the mentality you got to have, man. And notice that he got that spirit of Lord willing. You know, that's also very important, man. That's you know, having humility. Because at the end of the day, man, the scriptures say, man, you don't do nothing or say you're going to do something without saying Lord willing, or say something is going to happen without saying Lord willing. All right, because it's prideful if you do so otherwise. All right. And, you know, I ain't going to say that every time I say I'm going to do something, I say it, because I don't. But it's the overall mentality. All right. It's not because I'm saying it because in a prideful sense, you know, sometimes you just say something and you keep moving, and it's just a salakia. But, you know, you got to have that mentality, man. And you got to be humble, and you got to be willing to lay it all on the line like these brothers here are showing us, man. And this, like I've said, and, you know, like one of the elder brothers was talking in the class yesterday, you got to have this mentality coming into the times that we coming into, because this is the spirit that Esau is going to be coming in, man. All right. Not only are certain men of the Lord going to have to deal with getting put to death and being tortured, etc., but you also going to be watching all these other niggas getting tortured too, man. And, you know, of course, fuck these 2/3 and all these heathens and shit. But that's not something that's easily digested, being in an environment where people are being tortured in your face constantly. All right. Because Esau's going to make people watch other people get tortured to try and break them. All right. And you got to pray that the Lord gives you the same spirit that these brothers got, where you just don't give a fuck. You ain't going to go off. All right. But that's all, you know, that's only if the Lord wills it. You know, Lord willing, we got that mentality. Verse 11. It's like at verse 12. Insomuch that the king and they that were with him marveled at the young man's courage, for that he nothing regarded the pains. All right. So the Lord put the spirit on this young man, you know, to take whatever Esau was giving him. And he didn't even flinch, to the point where Esau was even amazed that he didn't scream. It didn't mean nothing to him. He acted like he didn't feel it. All right. And that's another thing that you got to take into account, man. The Lord will put the spirit on you to where you might be getting tortured, or you might be getting put to death in a grievous fashion. But the Lord will put the spirit on you to be able to endure that and die manfully, man. And that's something that's very, you know, that's priceless. All right. Verse 13. Now when this man was dead also, they tormented and mangled the fourth in like manner. So when he was ready to die, he said thus, It is good being put to death by man, to look for hope from Yahweh, to be raised up again by him. As for thee, thou shalt have no resurrection of life. All right. So once again, you see here that Jake understood back then that reincarnation is real, not was real, is real. All right. They understood that they was coming back. And that's a big piece of the puzzle when you start to be faced with decisions like this, to go off and to try to preserve your one life, as Esau would tell you, okay? Because a lot of times you can't really grasp the true fear of the Lord when you think that you only live in one life and you can only die once. All right, the Lord will bring you back and continue to fuck you up, man. And they understood that, and that's one of the reasons why they weren't going to go off. That's one of the reasons why they didn't eat the swine, because they knew that if they decided to save their life, you know, what does the scripture say? He that wishes to lose or wishes to save his life will lose it, and he who wishes to lose his life will save it or find life everlasting. Roughly paraphrasing Salakia. You know, you got to be ready to put everything on the line, man. If you're trying to preserve yourself for just a little longer or find comfort for just a little longer, you know, you're not going to get that. Okay. Especially when you talking about what's coming up, man. You do what Esau got coming down the pipe. Esau ain't gonna have no fidelity on whatever he's promising you on the other side of that. Once you take what he got to give you, you through. He'll turn you off whenever he wants if you don't listen. He'll put you to death whenever he wants if you don't listen. And who's to say that thing, you know, when he give it to you, that it won't be able to control you? I mean, I don't know the exact, you know, logistics of everything that thing is going to do, or how long people are going to have to deal with the torments that come with that. All right, but I do know one thing, that Esau is not somebody who keeps his word, and he ain't never been known for keeping his word, especially when it come to Jake. So you niggas trying to take the easy way out and just take it to get your rest. Esau is going to crank it up even higher on you once he knows that he got you dead to rights, man. Esau don't be playing with you niggas. All right. But verse 15, afterward they brought him the fifth also and mangled him. Then looked unto the king and said, Thou hast power over men, thou art corruptible, thou dost what thou wilt, yet think not that our nation is forsaken of Yahweh. But abide a while and behold his great power, how he will torment thee and thy seed. All right, so these Jakes understood that Esau has had his day of reckoning set in stone from the beginning, man. And they knew that you wasn't just going to be able to put your hands on the apple of the Lord's eye like that, and you'll be able to just be cool after that, man. The Lord, just because you don't get, and that's one thing these Edomites don't understand, and you know the upper level Edomites do, because they know what's going on. But your everyday Joe six-pack Edomite, he don't get it, man. Just because certain individuals didn't have to pay the piper for the things that they did while they was living a certain life, you know, as this person or that person, don't mean that you're not going to get your punishment in the future, man. The Lord, nobody can be delivered from the hand of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, man. The scriptures say, I kill, I make alive, etc., etc. All right. The Lord, you ain't getting out of this, man. There's no escape when it comes to the judgment of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right. And see, that's another thing that Jake understood back then, man. At least these Jakes, because I'm sure it was certain Jakes that decided that they wanted to be soft, and they just did what Esau told them. But for these particular brothers, you know, they understood that, you know, it's better to fear the Lord, man, because the Lord can kill your body and he can kill your spirit. Esau can kill your body and then he can't do shit else to you no more. All right. And you're going to come back anyway. So it's better to just let Esau do what he's going to do so that you don't have to deal with the Lord. All right. Verse 18. After him also they brought the sixth, who being ready to die said, Be not deceived without cause, for we suffer these things for ourselves, having sinned against our power. Therefore marvelous things are done unto us. And this is another thing that Jake had a better understanding of back then, that, you know, most of these Jakes nowadays, they don't have. Jake could be quick to blame the Lord when something like this happens to them. Woe is me spirit. You know, start crying and complaining and cursing the Lord, having that spirit that Job's wife had. All right. But these Jakes understood that Anything that you go through is your fault. You get what you deserve. They went off. They had to pay the price for whatever it was that they did, whether it was in that life or a past life or whatever. All right. The Lord don't give people things that they don't deserve. All right. The Lord is not an unjust power. Verse 19. But think not thou that takest in hand to strive against Yahweh, that thou shalt escape unpunished. All right. Now, once again, Jake is letting Esau know, yeah, you might get away with this shit right now. You might skate right now, but you're not going to skate forever, man. Eventually, you're going to have to pay the price for that. And Esau's day is rapidly approaching for him to pay the price, not just for the things that they've done in America, but for all the things that they've done in the past, this account included. All right. Verse 20. But the mother was marvelous above all, and worthy of honorable memory, for when she saw her 7 sons slain within the space of one day, she bare it with a good courage, because of the hope that she had in Yahweh. All right, so this woman watched all of her sons get killed and put to death in a grievous fashion, and she still had faith in the Lord. She still didn't get to cursing the Lord, man. And that's something that you damn nigga women can learn from, man. Because you nigga women are good for cursing the Lord. You nigga women are good for crying and complaining when things don't go your way. And it don't even got to be something this serious, man. It could be something minor, and you damn animals, you don't know how to take it, man. You don't know how to just you don't know how to just take the low and be grateful, man. But y'all gonna learn soon, man, Lord willing. All right. Verse 21. Yea, she exhorted every one of them in her own language, filled with courageous spirits, and stirring up her womanish thoughts with a manly stomach. She said unto them, I cannot tell how ye came into my womb, for I neither gave you breath nor life, neither was it I that formed the members of every one of you. But doubtless the Creator of the world, who formed the generation of man and found out that beginning of all things, will also of his own mercy give you breath and life again, as ye now regard not your own selves for his law's sake. All right. And that's the spirit that you got to have. And once again, you see it again, that they understood reincarnation is real. They understood that they were going to have another opportunity to come back and live again. All right. And that's something that, like I said, it not only reinforces the fear of the Lord, but it takes away your fear of Esau. Because Esau's thing is that I'm going to kill you, man. I'm going to put you to death. I'm going to cut your head off. And that's why and in this world, you can see it. It's a very popular sentiment in today's day and age for people to think that you only live one life. All right. Esau has taken reincarnation out of, like, has made sure that people don't have an understanding of that, has taken it out of it being taught, etc., so that fear in them can be buffeted, so that you can have more fear in them, because the only thing that they can do is threaten to kill you and or kill you. That's it. Esau don't got no other power other than to put you to death. All right. His blessing is the sword. All he's going to do is kill you. But when you have an understanding that you're going to come back, and you also have an understanding that coming back, you can either come back in the good graces of the Lord, or you can come back and have to suffer, because the Lord is going to judge you for being soft and tuck and tail. You know, it makes you not have, Esau is not the preeminent one that you're going to fear when you got that understanding. All right. But with that being said, you know, you got to have this type of spirit for the days that we coming in, man, because Esau about to start putting people to death. And it's certain brothers that's going to have to get put to death. You know, Lord willing, I don't be one of them, but if that's my lot, that's my lot. You know, I just, Lord willing, the Lord put the spirit on myself if I'm one of those brothers, and all the other brothers who are going to have to deal with that. You know, Lord willing, the Lord give them the spirit to be able to endure that and to have the same fervent faith and spirit that these brothers and this woman had, man. All right. Cause this is where we going to, man, and you got to really get your mind ready for that. Okay, gird up the loins of your mind and get ready. All right, but with that being said, I'm gonna give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahweh Shai, Bashem, Kakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, the elders, and the men of great millstone, as well as the men that preach and teach the likewise doctrine. No compromises, no mixing it to fix it. Shalom to all the Akim and a few Akwat who may be listening. And until next time, Lord willing, Shalom.